You've seen them on Channel 4 and they have been broadcasted internationally. They have shown us multi-million pound mega mansions. And today, we have the cast of Dubai Buying the Dream back with us so that we can find out exactly what they have been up to over the past 2 years. I'm Karen Louie, Recruitment Manager at Betterhomes, and welcome to our reunion. So thank you everyone for being here today. So Rick, tell us what has changed over the last 2 years.
Crikey, it's strange that you look back, it was 2.5 years ago that we filmed that. So, an awful lot's changed. Colin's had a hair transplant, for a start.
Rick hasn't.
And I'm not. There's not enough transplants in the world for me. But, we in terms of Betterhomes, we've been carrying on, selling a lot of houses. The business has been growing. The guys have been really, really busy. So from that point of view, much of the same, really. The camera stopped rolling. We carried on selling.
Business as usual. Love it. Okay. And in the first episode, you mentioned that market was the hottest market Dubai had seen. So how does that market compare to today's market?
Well, I probably sound like a broken record because I think I'm now still saying this is the best market we've ever seen. And it is, right? I think if you look back to 2022 when we filmed that, there was 120,000 roughly transactions in the market. Last year there was nearly 190,000. So we thought it was great then, and it was. Certainly for those that have been in the market for a few years, it was a great time to be selling. But really today is phenomenal. Dubai is now undoubtedly the busiest and certainly busiest luxury real estate market anywhere in the world right now.
Hands down.
Hands down.
Definitely, it has attracted a lot of people, and even we've had international real estate agents coming into the market, broadcasting live to the shows. I mean, Ryan Serhant was here. That was an amazing surprise for me. He's one of my idols, actually, to be fair. So I was very impressed that we are now bringing a lot of people to Dubai to show our homes and properties.
One of the things we've done to sort of capture that, because it has become much more of an international market, Betterhomes is now part of the luxury portfolio real estate brokers of the world. Which has opened us up to a much wider marketplace, much wider market in terms of brokers. We had Fabio over in Vegas representing Betterhomes last week. So lots happening, lots of good stuff.
We'd love to hear it. Right, so Connor, other than fangirls coming into the office, what has changed for you since the show?
Well, the fangirls isn't really a new thing. So that's not much of a change. When we filmed the show, I was very much a player manager, and I had a team of just Michael and 7 or 8 others, I think up to 10 in 2022. Now I've taken a bit more of a step back from brokering, and I manage the full sales team in the office, which is 30 to 35 brokers. So a bit less time for myself, but more time helping everyone else close deals, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, amazing. And on the show, yourself and Evelyn showed us the Viking mansion with the useless snow room. We need to know, was it sold? What happened with that property?
We didn't sell it. I believe it's still actually on the market. Price keeps jumping up as the market goes up. As Rick touched on, the market is even hotter now than it was when we filmed the show. So a lot of the properties that we filmed at are now worth 50, 60% more. I sold a villa on the Palm there for 16.9. I sold one in November for 36, which was basically the same house in a slightly better location. So prices have changed completely. And because the Swedish house was from the developer, they've just kept raising the prices in line with the market, and it's still there.
It's a bit of a show house for them as well, isn't it?
I think they don't want to sell it.
Yeah, they use it as a bit of a showcase for the islands, which, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely interesting to see, that's for sure. So we obviously saw the snow room. You later showed us a property that also had a cave. What other unique things or crazy things have we seen in properties here in Dubai?
The craziest thing I've seen since is Rick flying in on the helicopter on the show, right?
Yeah, I've just landed. See you in 20.
I think my 2-bedroom that I was showing, that was a small house in a downtown where you had a real gold inside of the tiles in a bathroom. So that's something is a bit unusual for just a standard 2-bedroom in the downtown, but it depends all up to the taste of the owner, right?
Like real gold?
Yeah, like real gold. Huh. It's an Italian owner, and they own a big Italian company that does the design and renovations themselves. So they always like to put this extra touch. Their usual audience is like Russian, Nigerians, and so on. So they love gold, money, fancy.
We sold a 3-bed in JBR, penthouse in JBR about 3 years ago, and I remember you walked in and the walls were all cowskin, and that should give you an impression of what the rest of the place was like. Wow. And you went into the bedroom and there was a secret door in one of the bedrooms and it opened into like a massage parlour. Okay. And then we stopped there. We didn't go any further into it. But we sold it. No, we sold it. But you know, Dubai's full of weird and wonderful things that probably when you've worked here for this long.
I think those are actually normal for us, but
exactly, they become
for
normal.
For them, become like a wow. But
I mean, look at this, a bar in the living room, right?
Well, that actually takes me to the point that we were mentioning earlier. In houses, there's not a lot of houses in Dubai with basement, but I've seen one that was spectacular, that they've done it so beautifully, and they had no windows. It's all the way like a secret basement, and they had a massive bar and absolutely every liquor that you know. I mean, that bar alone was probably worth millions of what's in. And then they had this beautiful car that probably I won't remember what it is now. It's a vintage Porsche from earlier on, and it's just like a show place, and that's what they bring the people in, friends or entertainment or business, and just to show them what they can have. And isn't that phenomenal? How did they manage to get the car into the basement?
They built a house around it.
So Carolina, very early on in the show, you had some conflict with Harvey and the energy he was bringing.
And in the office, you need working energy.
Yeah, I disagree. You're getting old, I think that's what it is. You're not used to this young energy in the office.
Wow, okay, Harvey, that's a very nice and gentleman thing to say. I really appreciate that.
Now, 2 years on, he is not with Betterhomes. Mm-hmm. He's also no longer in Dubai. Now, what do you think it takes to be a top broker here in Dubai?
Well, I think Harvey also mentioned a phrase before, like you either go big, either go home, and I think he's home now, yeah. So like it definitely doesn't take the characteristics that was him. I mean, I think he's a good person. I just don't think he was properly concentrated on the business he should do, because I don't mind him, to be honest. There's always fun, to try to mentor him. Sometimes very stressful and painful, but I just think he was not fully concentrated, and I think he does like Instagram blogging now or something like that. So I think it suits him very well, better than selling the properties. So
yeah, okay, fair enough. And Michael, when we saw you on the show, you had moved from leasing to sales, and you mentioned that it was a bit of a slow start for you. So 2 years on, how are things going for you now?
Yeah, amazing. Honestly, I really found my feet. I think, when we're talking about the changes that have been made with Betterhomes, I think there's been a lot of focus back on leasing and seeing leasing for the potential that it has. It's a wonderful role to be in.
It's a career.
It's a career. Definitely, it's a career now. So it's definitely elevating. It's definitely developed. We can kind of see that some people might be suited better to leasing. Some people might be suited better to sales. I feel like I really found myself in sales, and I really found what I'm supposed to be doing here and my journey and my calling to be in Dubai. So it's been amazing. I've done a few deals here and there, just a few, but yeah.
And you dipped your toe back into leasing last year with that big palm deal.
Yeah, that's right.
How much was that again?
That was about £100,000, I would say. Yeah.
We did. I mean, not to sort of belittle that, because it's great, right? But last year, Tony, one of the guys in the local team, did the largest ever recorded rental deal here in Dubai, and it was 15.5 million dirhams a year. So, what's that in pounds? Sort of just under 4 million, 3.5 million quid, about £3.5 million a year rental, which is just phenomenal.
And this was funny because I did that deal. It was like one of the records at the time. And then another boy in our office did an even bigger deal than me. And then Tony just came out of blue and just wiped the floor with us. Yeah.
It never stops. And that's not the end. Yeah, that's not the end.
So I think that speaks a bit to what Carolina's saying about, just always being on the ball.
But then that's the thing about the business. You do something and you think you've done so well, and before you actually literally relax, somebody else comes and knock you out of the park.
Yeah. Usually you.
Yeah.
Not bad. So watch this one, Simona. Was it yesterday?
Yesterday.
Sold a villa in Jumeirah. Yes. £100,000 commission. I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad for a Tuesday, right?
I'm happy.
Just another day for Simona, right?
Yes.
She spent it already.
Yeah, she spent it already. Yeah.
I love my job.
So, Michael, we saw you enjoying a beach club and a yacht party on the show. Now, tell us, obviously, Carolina has mentioned, people need to concentrate in the right areas. How difficult is it to stay focused and not get caught up in everything that Dubai has to offer?
Well, Mike's got a little baby now, so he's got to keep focused, hasn't he, mate?
Just waiting to see when can we bring that up.
Exactly. So, focus is the most important, right? It's exactly what Carolina was saying. Some people come here and get caught up in the lifestyle that the Emirates has to offer you. And there's so much and there's something for everything. You might think, nah, nothing will get me. There'll be a boat, there'll be a club, there'll be a brunch, a lunch, a dinner. Something will get you, and you have to enjoy yourself, but you got to have balance at all times, right? So balance is the key, right? You definitely don't shy away from it. Enjoy yourself, but remember you're here to work. Remember what you've got to do, and having I've had a baby recently. I've had a baby so far, yeah. And so for me, that's my center. That's my anchor. That brings me back to reality.
You found the balance.
Yes, exactly.
By the way, just to mention, I'm not a boring person. I also party, okay? Because we keep saying, ask Carolina, say you must concentrate. Ask Carolina, say you must. I also know how to enjoy my life.
On your social media, you're out every night, Carolina. We all see it.
It's networking.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
And also, I want to just put the disclaimer out there. I didn't go straight from the beach club to the viewing. I actually sobered up a bit and then went to the viewing before anyone.
I thought you were going to say I didn't go straight from the beach club to the baby.
That is actually a better one.
Right, and Connor, in episode 2, you say that Carolina is a cutthroat closer.
Did I?
Carolina.
Wow. Oh, she's a cutthroat closer. That's a good thing. I don't know why you're laughing.
You did. So, who do you think is a cutthroat closer now?
Well, it's definitely still Carolina. I would also say it's probably Noah, top broker for 2024.
Thank you, Connor.
Simona does £100,000 deals on a Tuesday.
Love it.
Michelle's no longer a new sales broker. She's a very experienced sales broker now. We're all cutthroat closers. If we weren't cutthroat closers, we wouldn't survive and we wouldn't still be here.
Yeah,
That's a nice
that's very
answer.
true.
A safe answer.
Yeah. And Rick even closed the deal.
Really?
Close the door on the way in. The puppet master. I'll let you guys all do the work.
So, Michelle, you moved to Dubai because of a friend. You had no real estate experience. You obviously were a top leasing agent and then demanded to move it into sales.
I'm going to have to speak to Jake and just say, if I'm not in sales by the end of the year, I'm going to have to leave.
How have things been for you since?
Good, well, I'm still here, so I definitely got the job and I'm grateful for it. It's been 2 years in our marina sales team. They're really strong and the support they give as well, it's amazing. So I definitely couldn't have done the job done.
Yeah, excellent.
Do you think Jake should have kept you in leasing, Michelle?
Well, Jake's no longer here, is he? So
You're sat next to Evelyn now, aren't you? Yeah. You, Evelyn, and Kat, like little dream team together.
yeah, no, but it's good and I mean, it's gone fast. The last 2 years I've learned a lot. It's very different comparing it to leasing. I think it's a lot more competitive in the sales side, but I've learned a lot and I feel like I've changed a lot in the last 2 years as a person and grown. So yeah, it's gone well. It's worth it.
So remind me, how long were you in leasing for?
About 18 months. So after the show, then I started progressing into sales. So you have like a 3-month transition period from leasing to sales, and then you just focus just on that. So in our office, we don't do both. It's either leasing or it's sales. You can't really, and I find that works, that you don't do both. A lot of real estate companies, they offer it as you can do both, you can go straight into sales, but I don't see how that would work. I think having a lot of contacts from leasing has really helped me as well. So it was good timing, yeah.
You need the experience. You can't show up with no experience in real estate and then try and sell a house because people will know more than you do and you lose credibility.
It also helps a lot because you learn in your areas, and as you say, you get in contacts. A lot of people that are leasing right now, they're looking to sell or they're looking to buy after a year, and it's a great context to have. My first sale was with someone who came from the leasing, so it's really useful to do that.
Yeah, because you rented their properties, they have the trust for you, and then it's easier to build it that way. Because you see, even now, people come into leasing in our office and they want to go straight into sales. But my advice as well is trust the process. Go along, do leasing for a long time. You can still make really good money, like even the deal you've done as well. And a lot of our team now, they want to just progress in leasing because they've seen how well you can do in the market for leasing is really good now. So it's a good career, yeah.
So if you were going to compare your time in leasing as opposed to your time in sales, how would you describe the two?
I think with leasing, it's a lot faster paced. So people want to move and they want to move now. With sales, it's a journey, They're either selling their house to buy a new one, or they're new to Dubai, and you kind of got to show them the areas. So I prefer sales personally because you actually build more relationship with the person, as opposed to leasing. It's a quick transaction. You move in and you don't really speak to them again. Whereas with selling, they come back to you after a year because they want to resell or they want to buy another investment property. So that's what I like about it, the relationships and the people you meet.
But I think as a start, it's actually still best leasing to start from, just from the experience you're earning from the areas. And as you say, for people, if they don't have a big savings, it's just better because it keeps you going with the money.
And just even when you do a sale, sometimes I've done an off-plan deal that took 9 months to get paid. So at least with leasing, it's consistent, it's every month. You've got money to pay the bills, whereas with sales, you can do a deal, but you don't know how fast you're going to get paid on it. So
I bet if Harvey was here with us now, he would tell us that he wished he started in leasing.
Yeah, very
Probably would though, right? Even though he had UK experience, it would have made more sense for him.
I think some people come in and hit the ground running in sales, right? We've actually got a new program at the moment for buyers agents coming in. So people who've got a bit more life experience is perhaps a polite way of putting it, but people who have come from other careers who have sold before, so sales experience and other things, but coming as a buyer's agent, so they won't be listing properties, they will just be working alongside somebody like yourself or yourself, dealing with buyers, doing viewings and trying to put deals together for the first 2 or 3 months. And we've had real success. I mean, John in your office did that, and he's done $1 million on the board in the first 4 months of being here. So I think if you can do that and you're not focusing on everything, you're not trying to list and work on buyers, it can be really successful.
As long as they come with buyers, we're happy.
No, we have enough buyers in the system. There's a lot of buyers in the system, right? That's not something we're shy of at the moment.
The more the merrier, Rick. The more the
merrier.
merrier. The more buyers, the more we close.
Correct.
I think one of the good things about this company, and the reason why we're all still here, is that Betterhomes likes to focus on making sure that agents provide value. And I think a lot of agencies get caught up with the money side of things, and their agents are just chasing commissions. Whether you're doing leasing or sales, we've got an amazing learning and development team. We've got an amazing HR team. And it seems like the focus now is on how are you going to provide your client value. And I feel like this is what leads to these lasting relationships that we have, where you've met someone in leasing, you provide them so much value that when they do want to sell, they're calling you back. Or you've sold them a unit, you've provided them so much value, they're calling you back. And the reason and the fact that we're focusing on that in this company, it's just a blessing to work in a place like this, to be honest.
I agree with what you say. Betterhomes is the most experienced agencies in the market, with nearly 40 years in Dubai real estate. And to be honest, that makes a difference. You have buyers coming in to Betterhomes, not just to the agents. They're coming in, coming in looking for what they've enjoyed, the experience, the closeness, the good service. And they come and talk to you about it. So this is what we're here for, not just cashing in every day, because again, money comes and goes, to be fair. It's how long you can continue to be on the top. That's the most important thing. And I think Betterhomes has achieved that over and over again for the last 40 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Simona,
Hi.
as we heard, you absolutely dominate the local market. Now, how have things changed in the local market since the show?
Local market for me is like it's my second home. Like, I love dealing with locals. I do everything locals.
Salam alaikum.
Salam alaikum. So it's such a pleasure to deal with all these luxury houses. And the local people here are amazing people. They love dealing with women. They do respect the woman. They pay money easily. They don't care if you charge 2, 3, 4%. They will be happy to pay if you work hard. So for me, it's like a pleasure. So it's been doing very, very, very well.
Excellent. And we saw on the show that you love to close deals on your own. Now, does that depend on who you're working with, or is just that kind of like your blanket rule?
I think when I work on my own, I can control everything because sometimes I cannot rely on the other agent.
100%. Yeah.
So, when I am like dealing with the buyer, with the seller, I know what I do. I cannot, sometimes I cannot trust the other agents, even like maybe other company as well. So yeah, it's a bit of but I like to close on my own. I don't know if that is good as bad, but for me, it actually works.
If it's working.
And it's more money when it's on your own. So
very well.
So Noah, you joined us coming from a hospitality background. You mentioned on the show that in your first month, you made the equivalent of 6 months' salary as a sales director in hospitality. So you were top broker on the show. 2 years on, you were top sales broker last year. So you're still at the top of the leaderboard. What's your secret?
Oh gosh, there's no secret really. It's very, I say everywhere. Hard work, tenacity. You keep going forwards. You have I've had really a tough quarter. Even though I came top broker, my last quarter, Q4 of 2024, was a very difficult quarter. There were 3 deals that were supposed to close and none of them closed. And it was the heartache, the frustration, the disappointments. And we all have this. It's not always high. It's not always on a high level. The lows are really hard to take. But the difference is you have to brush off and pick up and get up again and continue going. Otherwise, it's not. And every day is very different in real estate. There is no day the same. And it's always a learning curve. You have to, the harder you work, the more opportunities you avail for yourself and the more you achieve. And if you have to be constantly on top of your game. And I would say you have to always have few balls in the air, pipeline, because once that kind of dries up, you have to start all over again. Then you'll have that gap of earnings that is tough to remotivate yourself. So it's really, we all know this, it's just keeping at it and staying positive, and we all know that, but it's hard to do it every single day of every month of every year.
Yeah, definitely. So how do you keep motivated? Because like you said, you might have deals going that you think are done deals, and then last minute things change, the deals don't go ahead, which obviously, like you said, it's heartbreaking. So how do you pick yourself up and keep going the next day?
I'll tell you once, when that happens, you need to go and have a really you finish the day off. That would be that's it. And you have a good down day. Go to the beach. Absolutely. Few stiff drinks. You go to the beach, you go home. I spend time with my children. I just kind of literally switch off. Obviously, I don't switch off my phone because I always know that sometimes things can change and maybe you can get that deal, which happened actually in December. I thought a deal is completely off the table and I've taken the client out and sold them another house. And before we signed, we managed to revive that deal. And that was a great save for the year. But you get that day over and then you start again fresh the following day. You don't take a week because that will really affect you. But you just have to have that discipline. I think that's the right word.
And an open mind as well. Definitely. Because sometimes sometimes we see things, we think that's bad that happened, but we don't know what that could lead. I know it's saying lead you on to. So sometimes you're just making sure that you're not woe is me, and
don't take it personally.
Yes, exactly.
I just want to add on that because everybody see the money, the success, the luxury car we drive, the apartment we live and everything, the bags and stuff. but like nobody see the hard work behind the doors.
No.
Working in a 60-degree like heat outside, looking for homes, looking for, and I mean, this is such a hard work, but by the end of the day, it's actually worth it.
And that's not actually an exaggeration. In the summer, it gets up to 60 degrees.
Yeah.
It's true.
But also, I just want to add, I think in this business, like I also say the same things. You should not take stuff personal and you should try to just, you take a day off when you rest, but we're also all humans. So I think a mental part of this job is very important as well, how you keep up with your mental health. I think it's important to be fair to yourself, because what I was trying to do in my first year is that even if something didn't go through, I was like, oh, it's fine. I keep going. I'm okay. I'm happy, but I'm actually not happy. So I think sometimes it's very important to be fair to yourself and take the proper break.
I also, I started in real estate in 2003. And I remember one of the very first things I was told is, your job is to take the emotion out of the deal, right? You take the emotion out of the deal, but then you take it on yourself, right? Yeah, and it can be very, very difficult. And one thing I've learned, and I hope you guys all learn, is you have to set boundaries with clients as well, right? We are not the punch bag. We are here to professionally make things happen. And you do have to sometimes set boundaries with clients. You shouldn't be having clients scream and swear at you down the phone, because that goes two ways. And I think that's really, really important.
Yeah.
When you say it goes two ways, you mean if they scream and swear, should we? No. I'm joking.
You take the professional approach, Michael, and you suggested perhaps we revisit this conversation when emotions are a little bit calmer, right?
That's true.
Yeah, but it is about setting boundaries with clients, because otherwise clients will encroach a little bit too much into your lives.
It's very true. And obviously, Dubai, we have so many cultures and so many people from different parts of the world. So their emotions are different than our emotions, depending where you're from. Their cultures are different. Some people actually don't mean to shout at you. They're just emotionally high with what they're saying. Very. And then you're thinking, oh my gosh, okay, I'm going to what do I need to do now? So understanding that's a very important key as well for people watching this. When they want to get into the business, they need to understand that they have to learn that the amount of cultures we deal with on a daily basis. Yeah. I
actually like emotional people. I know maybe it's a bit psychotic, but I always feel so I always feel like, even my manager says, if a person emotionally involved, he is into the deal, he's attached to the deal. For me, the worst people that are no zero emotions, no talks, no conversations. People that are emotional and they scream at you, yeah, it's unpleasant, but they're inside of this deal and this is going somewhere.
Unless it's the seller that wants more money every day.
Yeah, but if he's stressing out, he knows he can't get this money, so potentially he still considers he closed the deal at the lower price.
So I know in the office, the amount of interviews we've had has increased. Some wanting to be a real estate agent, others just wanting to see Connor walk around the office. Has anybody else had any interesting interactions with fans since the show?
Rick?
Just people wanting to ride in that chopper, Connor.
I just got a lead. They called me, yeah.
From the show?
Yeah. They were wanting to rent and now they're buying. So we've got the property exclusive for rent. Yeah.
I had a few interactions, somewhere personal, somewhere more professional. I also got 2 emails from 2 people. One was actually looking for a property for £1 million to buy. And another guy sent me an email which is saying, hello, Carolina, I'm looking for a property for £3 million. And I was like, okay, are you specific about any area, any specific requirements? And he said, I'm open to anything as long as it fits within the budget, but I have one question to ask. And then my next email is, so what's the question? And he says, do you wear latex? So I guess that's not really a serious client.
So I think pass that to Michael.
He
wears latex.
Oh, that's you. Sorry, that's because of you. Yeah, but otherwise, I had quite a few very nice interactions. I think I've got some people from UK Texan, but also from the Netherlands.
Yes.
Yeah. So from the Netherlands, people were like super, super nice, like texting me that I was very genuine and so on. Even though I came on the show as a little bit tough person, but they say no, I was very genuine. And one of our colleagues, Calvin, he came to me one of the days, sat next to me and said, you know, my dad from the UK, he watches every Wednesday this show. And after each TV show, he calls me and gives me a feedback about it. And he says, oh, that blonde Russian-speaking woman is actually my favorite character. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, that's really nice.
I think, I don't know, you guys probably resonate as well. A lot of people that maybe you've spoken to, you know, you worked with them maybe in the UK, or you haven't spoken to them in a while, they see you on the TV and then they reach out, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram or your phone, like, hey.
You want to be a friend with the star, yeah?
So you again. It's been years.
Ex-girlfriends, eh, Mike?
Oh my God, do you remember me?
I had one. I was just finished closing a deal, and then I took the client to the golf club to sit down and just finish signing some document. And had 4 golfing ladies, lovely ladies, and they came around and said, we know you. And I'm like, okay, I hope that's a good thing. And she's like, you, that lady, you know her from the show. And I'm like, and obviously the client didn't see the show, so they didn't know. And she's like, oh, and she's like, oh my God, you're wearing so beautiful, you're glamorous. And they kind of served me a few compliments, which was so nice. And I was blushing. But the clients after wished them a nice day. And then the client after said, so you're famous then? That's like, okay.
I flew back to London about 3 weeks ago and I was very disappointed there was no paparazzi there. Yeah. Although I've got to admit, my kids are quite young, so my 9-year-old was quite interested, but my 6-year-olds and 4-year-old refused to watch it. But
like your daddy.
Yeah.
No. So who was everyone's favourite or least favourite on the show?
Wow.
You're not allowed to say yourself, right? I think, to be honest, I think Harvey was probably the best character on the show. And he's a great lad. He's a great kid. And it obviously didn't work out in terms of real estate here, but I think his storyline and the drama between you guys, and that's probably the storyline that most people have spoken to me about when they talk to me about the show. That and people shouting at me for being mean to Michelle when we did our interview.
How many times?
But also because in that storyline, I was there.
Of course, Carolina. Of course.
I think it's very good to show some drama because it's real. I mean, it's not all crystal clear, perfect. Should they come back for another series, I think it'll be very good to bring all what we have not shown, because we try to keep it as professional as possible. And there's no thing internal, but there was a lot of that. And, you know, I think a lot of the cast came across really professional, and watching them, I mean, I'm a great critic of myself, 100%. And the first episode I watched, and I was like, oh my God, I can't watch this. But watching everybody being very professional and on top form encouraged me to continue watching them. And by that, then I actually watched myself, but it was very tough. I think it's something that we don't really realize how difficult it is to watch you on telly.
I don't know about it. I really enjoy it. So.
Okay, so now let's move on to some questions we received from the public for you guys. First one, Carolina.
Okay.
Are you single?
Oh, wow. What a beautiful question. Thank you. Yes, I am. Is there anything else to add?
I mean, I'm not sure whether that came from your latex wearing clients, but
I'm single, but I don't wear latex. So, you know, it's good.
I mean, your DMs are open. I don't know.
Considering the fact I haven't been dating for the past few years, they are open, but
it's very hard to get into.
Anything wrong with you? Like, why are you not dating for a couple of years, Sally?
For the last few years.
But it's true.
I mean, I wouldn't say like that. So, like, completely single for the last...
Yeah, but I don't think it's a bad thing. It's also, I think, down to the different cultures.
Okay, and Rick, the people want to know.
Yeah.
What's your net worth?
Oh my God.
Probably less than some of the people around this table here, if I'm brutally honest.
So modest.
Yeah.
So should not be.
My net worth is measured in my kids and my wonderful wife.
Oh, that's
Yes.
so sweet.
And that's the best
And
answer.
watches.
And watches, yep. We love that. Now, Michelle, did you really give Rick an ultimatum?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, either way, I feel like I was going to go into sales. It was just asking Rick the question and him saying, yeah. I didn't really apply for other companies. I knew I was going to get the job, so.
I think because you've done very well and you've proven yourself, even though they knew you were frustrated and you were not really happy, but you still kept going in and doing the job and earning and putting numbers on the board. It was only one way to say yes. And she'd proven herself numerous of times. Why would he say no?
Exactly.
Well, how did you feel receiving an ultimatum?
As I said at the time, I don't work very well under ultimatum. I normally just turn around and say no for the sheer bloody mindedness of it. But no, look, she's fantastic, right? She was a fantastic leasing agent. Now she's a fantastic sales agent, and she was right to push it sometimes. You know, you've got to get your elbows out a little bit in our industry, and I've no problem with that whatsoever.
So last question we've got from the public is, amongst everyone we've got here, what is the biggest deal that has been closed?
What's your biggest deal, Noah? So many of them, it's hard to think, isn't it?
I think in one month, I think I nearly put just under $1 million on the board in dirhams. So that's just short of £220,000 in commission.
In November, I sold Villa on the Palm for 36 mil. That was my highest transaction. What's that, £7.5 million, I think? I did $1 million that month.
It almost doesn't sound real. Like when you say it so casually like that, well, like, yeah, I did $1 million that month or £220,000. It doesn't sound real, but that's real life. This is Dubai.
You know why it doesn't sound real? I think because once you close that and you know how well you've done, you take it in and then you want to keep doing it. So then the minute it sinks in, you already after the second deal to make sure that you're not left behind. And that's why it doesn't feel real.
And as you said earlier, there's no normal day. Every day is different. Every week's different. Every month's different. So closing a big deal is normal. Going 2 months without closing a deal is also normal. We're just used to the highs and the lows. And the reason we're still here and we're successful is because we know how to handle both the highs and the lows. And we stay balanced and we just push forward.
Some balance. Sometimes. No, it's not balance, to be fair. It's tough. It's tough to keep that.
The balance. Yeah, there's no balance in real estate. No, it's a roller coaster, ups and down all the time. But this is the fun. This is the fun of this job, you know? You don't have a limit. You can go anywhere.
Connor, you mentioned on the show when Noah won Top Broker that it should have been you.
Oh,
now, 2025, how are we tracking? Who is it going to be this year?
I think it's going to be Noah again. Because now, as I said earlier, you know, I'm more in a managerial position. I just dip my toe in just to remind everyone that I can
There's
close.
some pretty stiff competition this year.
There is some
already,
big
though.
competition,
Big
yeah.
competition this year.
You don't know. You never know. It could be literally all the way through the year, top, and then one person that just comes in, does one deal from nothing to the top. And that's the beauty of it. It's uncapped.
We've got, I tell you what we've got this year. We've got about 2 billion dirhams in exclusive projects coming in. And I think it will be the people that get really involved in that. It'll be really difficult. If somebody gets really involved in that and do 30, 40 deals and those sort of things, it'll be hard to catch them. So get involved in them, team.
Our top broker this year could be someone that we don't even know. It could be someone that we haven't even hired yet.
Yeah, that's very true. And it could be you. Our applications are open. We are taking on new brokers at the moment. And as you've heard from everyone here today, opportunities are endless. Earning potential is unlimited. And the Dubai market is not slowing down. Thank you to everyone here for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll see you for a season 2.